The UPSC Civil Services exam is one of India's toughest tests. Every year, close to 1 million applicants slog hard, hoping to get into one of the limited number of coveted positions in government civil service. But the first Prime Minister of India once said, "The true test of a civil servant is not how much he knows, but how much he cares." Indeed, this may apply to all those working in government. However, while aptitude and attitude are key, are they enough? Let's hear insights from a former Indian president and a few dedicated civil servants.
Right from the childhood, I wanted to do something for my own people, my farmers, my poor people. That was my dream. And after joining civil services, my dream became a reality.
Yes, I'm a qualified MBBS doctor from Government Medical College. I had always had a social bent, like I wanted to do something for the people. But then I believe being a civil servant, I could serve on a larger scale.
Having a service attitude is important, but according to His Excellency, the former President of India, how they carry out their duties also matters.
The main duty of civil and public servants in a democracy is to implement the policies of the government in every sector of the society in a timely manner with full transparency, loyalty and fairness.
However, even with sincere intentions and actions, these civil servants face many varied challenges.
We are not officers, we are public servants. We are the servant of people because we have to break our egos. We have to think from the perspective of the taxpayer who pays for our salary. And it's easy to say, but difficult to accept because from an officer to a servant, it's a major role shift that's been happening in services and many are finding it difficult.
We have three stakeholders. The first stakeholder is a public, second stakeholder is a politicians, and third stakeholder is our system. While working, we have to follow the system, the rules, regulations. While serving that, the people have a lot of expectation from the civil servants. Our first aim as a government servant, public servant, is to listen to them properly, understand their problems, what issues they have, and how you can resolve the problems promptly. That is the foremost challenge.
At a very young age, you have got a lot of powers. Along with the powers comes a responsibility. And unless and until you handle your powers responsibly, you will not be able to satisfy your higher bosses, political bosses, as well as non-political bosses and the people.
We face a lot of challenges, especially the expectations of government from us as far as delivering our targets throughout the annual targets are very huge. Plus, the kind of manpower we have to help us out is very less. And we are seen through a lot of big lens. Our work is very much analyzed and observed and always commented on, work, review, and all these things are happening. So it's quite a high tension, high stress, high anxiety job.
Maintaining personal integrity under pressure is perhaps one of the biggest challenges they face.
In the current era of social media, every small and big aspect of the government sector becomes the subject of public conversation and discussion, and civil servants are accused of corruption from time to time.
Earlier, when I was working with the state government, there was always a lot of political pressure and a lot of administrative pressure to do things, things which you were not wanting to do for certain reasons, that they are not as per the rules and this and that. You have to follow certain procedures, you have to follow the law. Whereas people on the other side don't understand all of these things. They are more concerned that, my work has to be done. So I remember one situation where my boss had asked me to do a file in a particular way. And for me, it was completely non-doable thing. This was a matter in which stakes of crores of rupees was there, and some higher up in this thing in my hierarchy had said that, you know, you just overlook this thing, like you don't look at this, and that it will be a thing between you and me, that you don't look at this, you know, it's like I'll keep it a secret and all.
The pressure was intense, but luckily she was able to gracefully stand her ground.
Yes, it was a charging situation. This thing was completely unthinkable for me, you know. So the fact that I could say no to him in a very quiet, in a very polite and calm manner, I think comes from Vipassana.
His Excellency and these civil servants often face high pressure in their line of work, but fortunately for them, they share a common bond in dealing with their challenges. They all practice the ancient technique of Vipassana meditation, which was used by the Buddha himself for his own enlightenment 2600 years ago.
I came to know about Vipassana from one of my senior, and he was after me since 2005 that I should do Vipassana, but I think that was not my time. I took nearly more than 10 years to get convinced that I should do Vipassana, and finally in Feb 2016 I went for Vipassana at Global Vipassana Pagoda, and I got an opportunity to know the gem on the earth, Vipassana.
One of our known people had gone and done Vipassana. So me and my mother, way back in 92, did our first course at Dhammagiri. From 92 to 2016, I was busy with my career, children, marriage and everything. But then in 2016, when my husband went for his first course, and when he came back from his first course, he was quite shaken with the experience because those 10 days were very difficult for him. All his fears, probably his anxieties and everything, he confronted it for the first time or whatever had happened for 10 days. When he came back, he also started practicing in the morning and the evening, and we saw the change. Seeing that, we also went for the, I went for the next course, yes.
So I did the first course in Igatpuri in September 2000, and for 10 days course was difficult. I thought of running away in the first 3-4 days, but after the 5th day I got settled, and at the end of the day I was thankful to them who advised me to do this course.
My elder brother, Sri Ramswarup Bharti, had been exposed to Vipassana. So the change in his life encouraged me, and I entered the field of Vipassana in 1996.
I was in civil service at that time. I joined the services, and during my training, just got information of this thing from my relative. And he told me that in our district there is a Vipassana center. Before joining the course, I was just in search of a meditation technique which will guide me in the life, in the search of that technique only. And I got it.
They fully embrace Vipassana because they feel that their commitment and dedication to serving in their respective roles are further strengthened by their practice.
Our response is most important. Our response should be with metta, with friendly attitude, with compassion. This is taught in Vipassana.
You see, after the first camp, I used to practice Vipassana occasionally. But when I was appointed as the governor of Bihar, and I had the good fortune to contribute to the establishment of the Vipassana center in Patna, I started attending it by organizing 3-day Vipassana courses at the governor's house. It helped me in discharging my duties smoothly as governor of Bihar.
By doing Vipassana courses, I realized my responsibilities. I don't have only power, but I have a lot of responsibilities. Whenever I take a decision or whenever I behave in a certain manner, I need to be more responsible. I always fast track the decisions which were in the interest of the masses, in the interest of my people. But the things which cannot be done or which are not in the interest of the masses, which are not in the interest of the people, I have kept them on a hold, and I have found the right opportunity, right time to convince my bosses why it cannot be done and why it should not be done.
Apart from improvements on how they deal with the public, internally, they found that their work relationships and leadership skills flourished as well.
I was the shouting boss, so she shouted at small things, and all the aura around me was disturbed. When I started doing it, my personal happiness and the happiness around me also increased.
When I came into the civil services, people were so scared of meeting me, nobody used to come to my chamber. Even the local MLAs and MPs were also scared of meeting me. Nowadays, the situation has changed so much, everybody wants to work with me.
Then the fact that I am a superior officer and they are inferior to me, that also underwent a change, because the kind of ego that was nourished being a civil servant, to a very large extent also, got tamed and got calmed down. Relations became much more smoother, based more on understanding, based more on compassion.
The difference between government and private. Private, you have to create leadership. In government, the leadership is given with powers. So, if you think you are a leader by the virtue of power you got, that's not true leadership. It's when your colleagues accept you as a leader. Vipassana, you create a real leadership in the minds of your colleagues and get a better results and get a performance.
Vipassana meditation provides them with a strong foundation, resulting in the positive changes at work.
Vipassana has three pillars. First is moral precept, and to be a very good government officer, we need to follow moral practice, which are prescribed in a government system. Vipassana student, we are walking on that path. We strictly follow the 5 moral precepts which are given by the Buddha. If a good government officer walk on the moral precepts, it is bound to make a difference with the people who come in contact and will really impact them.
Ethics is something which should come from inside. So when you meditate, things come from within. They give you a right direction to do the right things, choose the right things. You have a number of options, but when you meditate, you surely select the right ones. And right ones are always ethical.
The second pillar of Vipassana is the concentration. Learning the concentration Vipassana, it really gives you good focus. You become a very good task master.
We are into a government job, we have to read a lot, files are there, very complicated matters, technical matters. So there the concentration started helping us. Like we now could focus on certain thing, read about it, in a very less span we could cover things.
The third pillar is wisdom. You are very impartial. You are treating the people at the same level. You are treating them equally. You are not inclined to anyone. And this really gives good message to the people. If you don't have any greed, you become automatically impartial. And this makes a difference.
Vipassana meditation is helping His Excellency and these civil servants provide even better governance in their respective roles. But in ancient times, it also helped Emperor Ashoka to become a compassionate and even more powerful ruler.
Was told in Ashoka's time and earlier also, that if the king himself is moral, he will choose people in his ministers, as in his cabinet, who are just like him. And then most of the population, they come in contact not with the king, but his officers, his cabinet, his ministers. So if he is following morality, all people in and around will be following the same, and accordingly the people will get the benefit of it.
It is said that his vast kingdom was held together by a strong administration which followed his strict instructions on how to govern. These instructions can still be seen today on the pillar edicts located in Delhi, Topra. My officers of high rank and low and middle rank, my instructions are to protect according to Dhamma, to dispose according to Dhamma, to make others happy according to Dhamma, and to guard others according to Dhamma.
शासन हुए धर्म का लोग हों या खुशहाल शासन हुए धर्म का लोग हों या खुशहाल
The lion capital pillar of Ashoka and the Ashoka wheels seen on the Indian flag are two symbols of Dhamma, the teaching of Buddha. Fortunately, they are still used to guide the people and administrators of India today as they did in the past.
From Chanda Ashok to Dhamma Ashok. So he created a civil servants who will follow the Dhamma, who will think about good of the masses of his kingdom, who will work righteously in the interest of the people.
Good governance means they are abiding by the oath they took when joining public service.
When we come into civil services, we take the oath of allegiance to Constitution of India. As civil servants, we have to work towards the goals that have been set up in Constitution of India. And when I read Constitution of India, it is so much aligned with the teachings of Buddha and Vipassana itself.
The Constitution of India is based on the value of equality, justice and secularism for all sections of the society, and Vipassana meditation is also a non-sectarian discipline for all sections of the society. Therefore, it is easy to imbibe in life. When you are dedicated to social service, either publicly or personally, you have to act in accordance with the spirit of the Constitution. Vipassana provides the ease to reinforce this commitment.
His Excellency and these civil servants found that Vipassana meditation helps them cope with the difficulties at work. But even more, priceless than that, they found a solution to come out of their own personal challenges.
Before I attended the course, Vipassana course, life was really distracting and very unhappy. It was very sorrowful. When I started Vipassana, it really brought me on a track.
There's a Marathi saying which says that Swabhavala aushad nahi. That is, there is no remedy for a person's nature, But I think Vipassana is the remedy. I was always on an emotional roller coaster, like this. If I compare myself from the earlier Pallavi and now Pallavi, and I'm much calmer, quieter, a more composed person as compared to what I was earlier.
It reduced my anger. It reduced my stress. Then it gave me the courage to be in the situation instead of avoiding the situation.
Vipassana paves an easy way for me to observe my daily behavior and engagements, and I am able to objectively assess myself where I should have been more careful.
While they experienced positive personal changes, they also found home life improved significantly as well.
Every husband-wife fight. So it was the same with me and Praveen, that we used to fight. But earlier the fights were like very severe. We used to not talk to each other, say for days or something. And now it is like, when we fight itself, we start laughing. Because that intensity, that zest is gone.
My wife, my father, my mother, my brothers, they all attended the courses. We are really conflict free. Our family is calm, quiet and focused and very contented and very happy life, happy family.
I have a son who is now 15 years old. I otherwise was a very hyper mother. So I was very concentrated and very, you should do this, you should do that, you should not do that, constantly giving instructions. So I think I have reduced that a lot. I think you should ask him, of course, whether I'm a better mother or not. But I would say that, yes, I am trying to be a better mother, more understanding one.
One of the main challenges for those working in public service is the heavy work schedule, and it can be difficult to find a suitable time to attend a course. But fortunately, there are more than 100 Vipassana centers in India and more than 200 centers around the world. 10-day residential courses are run almost back-to-back throughout the year, giving plenty of options for those wishing to experience Vipassana. On top of that, in India, some state governments provide extra paid leave for their civil servants to attend a course.
Government, I believe, is convinced of the benefits that Vipassana brings to the individual as an officer and also to the working of government.
The message from His Excellency and these civil servants is loud and clear.
Along with character building, human values are developed, sensitivity increases, and the feeling of dedication for public welfare is confirmed.
Our schedule is very hectic. We remain stressful throughout the day. Things, it piles up. It causes all different physical and mental elements. Vipassana practice daily morning and evening. It cleans it. It's all the stress, accumulated stress gets nullified and you become very fresh, positive, focused in your work.
It's not finding time for Vipassana, it's finding time for yourself. So it's a choice we make, and where there's a will, there's always a way.
They are well-meaning people. But over a period of time, slowly, one loses that touch, that orientation, which one usually has in the beginning of the service. So I believe when you do Vipassana, you reorient yourself, you realign yourself, and you really come to know what is the art of living, how to live life the best way possible.
In the today's modern world, everybody wants an instant solution. When you are thinking about purification of mind, I don't think so there is a shortcut. And 10 days is a very short span. Once you give these 10 days to yourself, this is going to change not only your life, your family's life, but whole of your organization's life and the whole of your state's life. This is the only one life, and you should make the best of it.
धर्म जिसु रक्षक नहीं, धर्म जिसी न ढाल, धर्म पालका को सदा, धर्म रवे रखवाले। धर्म जिसु रक्षक नहीं, धर्म जिसी न ढाल, धर्म पालका को सदा, धर्म रवे रखवाले।